Hello everyone, and now welcome to game number 1 in a series between Fly and Yumiko. Yumiko has spawned as the red human player on the top left hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Fly has spawned as, well, the purple orc on the bottom right. This is going to be a 1v1 matchup here on Terranistan. I am expecting an Archmage versus Blade Master, as we quickly see the Blade Master being trained there and the Archmage being trained up off over to the top. Now, why is Archmage versus Blade Master so common in this particular matchup? Well, it really relies on the fact that the Archmage really needs, needs its Brilliance Aura in order to supplement all of the mana for those Sorceress. Sorceress are very, very mana intensive. Whoa, that is way too loud. Alright, hold on one moment. My headphones are now so loud that it sounds like speakers. Alright, back over here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top left. Archmage does get a lightning shield for all of his effort. And now what he's going to do is he's just going to stand in the midst of 3 apprentice wizards. He's actually spreading out that damage fairly well. And you can take a look at this. This is a perfect classic instance of how you should try and creep nearly as fast as possible. Archmage does pick up a Mantle of Intelligence, finishes that off. Now going to pick up that Circlet of Nobility and deny, that Water Elemental while picking up the Tome of Intelligence. Yumiko showing us why he is such a good player, doing all those small things right there, denying that Blade Master everything except a critical or a Windwalk strike on that Archmage. Archmage now off to the races, attempting to run away from that Blade Master, however takes 2 long hits for all of his efforts as a footman now blocks the path the other way around. Grunt now trying to do a bit of pathing as well, however with those broad shoulders I don't think he can really catch up to a man on a horse, as that Archmage now really runs back here. Let's take a look at the overall builds and what we are expecting. We can see that the Orc Burrows have been placed down. The Voodoo Lounge is a little bit later than normal, but then again the Blade Master doesn't really have to worry about taking that much damage early on. Against an undead player, he has to get those healing salves and clarity potions a little bit earlier. Meanwhile, up against a human player, he knows that the Archmage is pretty much going to be on the run from that Blade Master for the majority of the game. Now, the Blade Master can in fact use a Windwalk here to try and catch up to that Blade Master and then pick up the Boots of Speed. Meanwhile, the Water Elemental taking advantage of the fact that the Voodoo Lounge is currently under construction, and you can see the piercing damage on that Voodoo Lounge really making short work of that under construction Voodoo Lounge. Now, what's going to end up happening though is that water elemental, wow, what am I on today? That water elemental is going to end up giving experience to his opponent, but it does significantly delay his opponent from really being able to do all that much with that Blade Master. Blade Master, however, from Fly has been very, very resourceful and not used a lot of the mana that you see a typical novice player use. And a lot of times the Blade Master is just trying to spam Windwalk as much as possible, and without any additional mana would actually not be able to recover nearly as nicely. Meanwhile, the Blade Master now going to be able to catch up to this right there. You can see the Windwalk strike was enough to finish it off, as the Blade Master does get a little bit of a gift of experience from perhaps a sleeping at the wheel Yumiko. Now, footmen are still all wandering around here. You can see we are at tier 2, Mountain King already being trained, and we are going into the dual arcane sanctums. Those are not being sped built at all, so he is going to build them the old-fashioned way with 1 peasant building now with double peasants. That does decrease the time by about 50%, as the Archmage now runs through once more. Now, I am surprised that we don't see a Beastmaster in this matchup, as normally the Beastmaster is hired up relatively quickly, and then you can use those Quill Beasts to try and once again pierce down the Spirit Lodge and that Bestiary. The Bestiary, however, already done, so the timing on that was perhaps a little bit delayed, as the Water Elemental traps himself into a corner and once more gives a little bit more experience to that Blade Master. Archmage has not been gaining a significant amount of experience, so this may actually come back to hurt him, not having level 2 Brilliance Aura or the necessary items to go with it, while constantly feeding experience to Fly. That is going to give Fly a lot of room to maneuver, and be able to play a very, very quick game of catch-up. Now, one interesting thing though, the Blade Master has not really picked up all that many very useful items. As you can see, the Blade Master trying to run back here. Oh, Mountain King now going to be going back the other way. Are we going to see a Stormbolt? No. Somehow that Blade Master knew that, well, if I keep on walking and running alongside that Mountain King, things will just go from bad to worse. We can see, however, guard towers are up. No upgrade to Arcane Sentry yet. But I have to believe that that will be used at some point, just because the cost effectiveness, Dust of Appearance versus a Scout Tower, I believe Dust of Appearance costs 75 gold, while Ivory Towers cost 30 gold or 35 gold and 20 lumber, or 40 gold, and well, they changed the cost from when I used to play. Anyways, Footman and Priest with Sorceress now still wandering around here. Let's take a look at this. Shadow Hunter now sitting at 2. Blade Master still sitting at 1. Spirit Walkers are out on the field as we are looking at us staying at Stronghold. 1 Kodo Beast will be added as well, but the Blade Master is not going to be that strong in this particular game because he doesn't have all of the items that normally accompany him. No Circlets of Nobility, no Claws of Attack +6, and no Gloves of Haste make for a weaker Blade Master than normal. Normally that Blade Master has 5 very powerful items plus a Potion of Invulnerability just to be able to deal a lot of that damage. Alright, let's take a look at this. Enforcer now going to come over and engage. Blade Master going straight for that Renegade Wizard. There's that Spirit Link cast across a couple of units there, mitigating or spreading out much of that damage. Healing Wave working so well with that Spirit Link as we now see Vampiric Aura and a Tome of Experience now being dropped down. Those grunts, raiders, all benefiting from that Vampiric Aura as well, and the Kodo Beast giving that damage buff. The grunt, all of a sudden the orc army just looks that much stronger. However, you can see that Yumiko has a good number of sorceress and priest in play alongside those footmen, and we are already seeing him set up an expansion. Archmage is at level 3, Mountain King gonna inch, or already at level 2, inching closer to level 3. And if, the Archmage does decide to back off, making that Mountain King perhaps just shy of level 3 now. 72 more experience needed. And clearing out this creep camp off over here without the Archmage should do it. Archmage should perhaps be backing off right now. There is a thunderclap. Mountain King, I do not... nope, Mountain King may still be able to hit there. There are a lot of level 2 creeps. And it looks like, yes, he will be getting to level 3 without much of a problem there. Archmage now also very close to level 4 as we see the army is now getting back together. All right, let's take a look at this. Shadow Hunter picks up a Mantle of Intelligence. Very, very useful item. Scroll of the Beast to add a little bit more damage on top of the Kodo aura, and that is going to perhaps push that Blade Master into the required plus 18 to plus 20 damage range. He's already at that already at plus 13 with those Claws of Attack +6, so an additional Roar may be able to push it that much closer, as we are now looking at the Ivory Towers already upgraded, guard towers with that Arcane Sentry to keep track of that Blade Master just in case he does try and walk on by. Footmen now keeping track of the army here. Invisible Footmen, that's got to be one of the craziest details ever for a soldier. We're going to give you this active camouflage, and what you need to do is follow your opposing army. Try not to bump into anyone, as they may notice that you are there. Meanwhile, orcs not too smart, not realizing, hey, there's nothing in front of me, but I somehow have to walk around something. Could you possibly disenchant this area right in front of me? I think someone's there. Alright, Footman still wandering around back over here. You can see the economic advantage is going to start to take its toll, as an invisible Footman by Yumiko down here also keeping track of that army. Mountain King may be able to get off a Stormbolt. No, decides against it. No Stormbolt there. Blade Master still running very slow, and without Boots of Speed, I am surprised that Blade Master is still able to do very much of anything. Alright, Blizzard now coming into play. As you can see, a huge Blizzard right there. Raiders are going to be very, very much focused on right now, as the Raiders do have a couple of ensnares to lay down. So far, the Mountain King comes in with a Thunderclap, a beautiful Hex now onto the Archmage. Archmage now in a bit of a run as the Archmage needs to run back. There is a potion of invulnerability. Blade Master tried to catch up, caught up to his opponent, and then realized, wait a second, I can't attack him. Priest need to do a little bit more healing as somehow Fly was able to build up a considerably large army here. This engagement's not going to do all too well, but we can see that that blizzard is going to start to take its toll. All right, as there is an ensnare. Mountain King, is he going to be able to, yes, land a thunderbolt right there? Disenchant coming in across over there as well to try and heal that Hex as the Blade Master takes a blizzard. There is a thunderclap, big use of thunderclap bolt, or excuse me, a thunderclap blizzard to slow things up. All right, Blade Master nowhere to be. Oh, there he is. Very, very low on life, able to slip on through. There is a heal though, as the Mountain King still leading in this charge. Archmage in a bit of trouble with mana. Has to be careful as the Blade Master not going to engage. There is a Windwalk strike right there. Level 2. It looks like it was level 2 critical strike as opposed to level 2 Windwalk. Blade Master now disappears as the Archmage is still running into a little bit of problems. Alright, let's take a look. Level 2 Brilliance Aura now underway. Level 2 Brilliance Aura means more mana across everyone else, as the Mountain King is going to try and engage right over here. He is very low on hit points though, and we are going to be looking at a retreat back to these guard towers, which do add a considerable amount of damage over time. Alright, Blizzard now continuing to rain down on all of those grunts. Spellbreakers perhaps should really reconsider walking through an army of orc grunts in order to get to their target. Meanwhile, Spellbreaker apparently, first Spellbreaker you lose, shame on me. Or, well, every Spellbreaker you lose, shame on Yumiko, as this was probably the fourth Spellbreaker to just get caught in transit. Alright, let's see. Is another Spellbreaker going to try and walk there? Yes, he will. But it looks like he's taking a little bit of a smarter path, taking the high road, and will be able to get there shortly. Mountain King using a Clarity Potion, getting healed back up. Spellbreakers not upgraded yet. And meanwhile, down across over here, Voodoo Lounge will quickly get destroyed. 55 over 60 supply compared to 56 over 66. There is, a 7 gold per second difference between these two armies right now. But the Shadowhunter sitting at level 4, gonna be very, very close to level 5. Meanwhile, the Blade Master about to be resurrected as well. 59 over 66. It looks as though the Archmage does not really feel that confident moving out, and Yumiko surprisingly does not have the Masonry upgrade. The Masonry upgrade would have given an additional point of armor and 50 hit points for every guard tower and arcane tower. That is tremendously helpful, especially if you have units on repair. Meanwhile, Shadowhunter going to go ahead and engage right here. Assassin taking a bit of damage towards the front. Shadowhunter is going to perhaps stay at level 4. Not going to quite have enough. Well, nope, I take it back. He may have enough to get to level 5 here after these wizards go down. But nope, that's what I originally thought. So yeah, Shadowhunter not going to have enough to get to level 5, as he is already at 480 mana. Meanwhile, we see an engagement here. Sorceress, Priest, Archmage, Blizzard, Bolt now trying to come through. Archmage now quickly ensnared, and Yumiko is actually falling behind. Fly is doing an extremely good job constantly shutting down his opponent from really gaining any traction. Meanwhile, expansion coming in from Fly here, that is now going to get added on, as we're looking and considering whether or not Yumiko will be forced to try and clear up another expansion, perhaps on the top right or the bottom left. Top right does seem like the obvious choice, and we'll look at where these armies will be traveling to next. There are still no upgrades on the Spellbreakers, and while the Troll Headhunters and the Grunts themselves have additional +1 armor. So +2 armor, effectively giving all units 10% or 12% additional life right there. Meanwhile, the Blade Master is going to continue to level up, now getting up to level 3. Shadowhunter sitting at level 5, and that Shadowhunter should not do any more creeping. Every creep camp that I see on the minimap has been cleared out. Yumiko going to try and contain his opponent. Mountain King now running forth into the midst of the army, and you can also see that there's a great hall under construction. Shadow Hunter now getting up to maximum mana as well. Mountain King gonna perhaps buy a second or a potion of invulnerability. Yumiko able to sneak in and out of this shop without having to worry. Raiders are now all right here. Are they gonna spot this? Guard tower is off over here as well. Yumiko's units are not being upgraded, and we are looking at 73 over 78 compared to 58 over 60. The gold mine has just, starting to be mined from. Meanwhile, the Great Hall still not done. Wondering why there was not use of the pocket Great Hall there, as the Mountain King now still in that front line. All right, there is a bunch of units. There is a blizzard, and so far all the units were trying to rush in there. Meanwhile, the Archmage quickly got ensnared, as the Raider is going to be able to get another one off there. All right, 2, 3 Raiders are all that are left. There goes another Raider there. Archmage, I guess he is purposely counting the number of Raiders and their ensnares. Quickly throws off another blizzard, thinking he has a little bit more time to do so, but you can see that he just does not at this point. All right, blizzard still raining down on all of those units. There is a Stormbolt. Spirit Walker gonna get taken down pretty easily. There it goes, and that could potentially be a problem once more. Meanwhile, Yumiko is gonna bring this fight to the front here, hoping that no ivory tower, so not going to be able to spot that Blade Master, as we see now Blizzard disrupting any sort of mining that's going on at this expansion. Voodoo Lounge now done, 58 over 70. Blizzard does have 8 waves, so it does last 8 seconds. It's 1 wave a second right now at level 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Half of the blizzard did go through normally. However, only blizzards at level 1 only have 6 waves, so still very, very highly effective. The second one, not so much, as the Raiders are now trying to get into position. All those slowed units, all the blizzard now being brought forth once more. Raiders trying to come back in from the north, and you can see that that is just not going all too well. One Raider finally gets an ensnare off, but it looks as though Fly's lines have completely fallen apart, and they are now just taking needless damage as the units are on the run. Blade Master still sitting at level 3. Mountain King sitting at 3 as well, just shy from 4. Arcane Vault now being added. However, Priest with Brilliance Aura should be enough to keep up with the heal demands of this human army. 7,400 gold left here. 1,500 gold left here. It looks as though there is about 2.5 minutes of gold left in the primary gold mines. Yumiko going to be running off of a one base infrastructure here in just a second. Meanwhile, back over here, Fly, with not that much gold in the bank, has to consider his options. Arcane Vault, you can see 1,000 gold ready to be spent on that Arcane Vault, and that could be the problem if we see perhaps some very, very useful buys. All right, Clarity Potions being used again. It looks like there's a Clarity Potion. Archmage also picking up a Clarity Potion, some more Ivory Towers, and a Potion of Healing. Back over here, still no upgrades whatsoever, as we're looking at an engagement now coming down. All right, there is an ensnare. Archmage may try to come in, and there it goes. There is another ensnare. Archmage now in a little bit of trouble. Oh, uses the potion of invulnerability, and now blizzarding himself to add in a little bit of extra damage. So far, that damage is going to add up over time. Blade Master gets a healing wave in order to extend his life right there, and it looks as though the Blade Master uses a scroll of healing as well, unable to finish off the unit. And now, with the Blade Master gone, the damage is going to fall off very steeply. However, Yumiko now bringing that Mountain King over, getting in a Thunderclap to try and mitigate some of the damage there. He is now continuing to pull back here. There is another Thunderclap. So many slowed units. Mountain King doing such a great job in that front line, as we see a Stormbolt go down onto a Kodo Beast. All right, Mountain King in a little bit of trouble. He does have a potion of invulnerability. He is going to be okay. Are we going to see another Thunderclap? He does have one available, and he could perhaps, no, throws down another Stormbolt, and he should be able to finish things off right there. There goes another Raider, as the Grunts now trying to retreat back once more. Mountain King most likely has a Clarity Potion on his wish list, and once again does use it. Also picking up a Potion of Mana. Archmage, on the other hand, itemless at this point. Well, I spoke too soon. 3 additional Ivory Towers, and now 1 Potion of Healing. Mountain King wandering to and fro, finally getting back into position. You can see Yumiko just slowly inching in onto his opponent, as the Mountain King is still testing these waters here. He is getting healed back up. Raiders are all in position. There is Blizzard now being rained down. And the Archmage pretty much knows that he could freely Blizzard right there, knowing that the Archmage has such strong mana that it's not going to really hurt him. The mana regeneration is just all so strong, as the ethereal form on the Spirit Walker saves him. But if he accidentally walks into an extra somehow Blizzard, he will get taken down. Alright, guard tower number 2 is taken down. Guard tower number 1 canceled before it is taken down. Mountain King gets off a Stormbolt onto a Raider. There it goes, as the Shadow Hunter now in a desperate run for the hills as well. Will the Mountain King be able to finish anything off? No, nor Stormbolts will be flying, as that Mountain King back up to 900 hit points. Meanwhile, Archmage still has a bit of work to do if he wants to stop this expansion. Things are once more leaning a bit towards Yumiko. Fly does feel the pressure. If he can, however, fend off this next attack, he should be able to start turning things around. As long as he doesn't lose more than his opponent, he should be in a good spot. 65 compared to 76. Yumiko now still getting even more Spellbreakers, no upgrades whatsoever. Mountain King in position, Blade Master in position, and here we go. Grunts are upgraded 2-1, and that is perhaps the big reason why the Orc army has been able to stand pretty much toe-to-toe with these with this larger army. Better equipped armies do tend to do a bit better, but size does matter of the sheer army here, as we're not at 79 over 96 compared to our mid-60s for Fly. Expansion now coming in from Yumiko over here on the bottom left and on the top right. Yumiko gonna know what his opponent is doing before his opponent even thinks about it, as the Scout Tower going to be upgraded to Arcane Tower here at any moment. Or maybe even well, nope, not going to be upgraded there. Meanwhile, back down over here, Shadow Hunter needs to consider its options. And the Shadow Hunter, even if it gets to level 6, will not be able to effectively cast Big Bad Voodoo because of that Mountain King. Big Bad Voodoo does give all of your units invulnerability, making the Shadow Hunter the primary target for all damage. Mountain King does have a Stormbolt to stop that channeling, but we'll have to consider whether or not the Shadow Hunter even gets there. Archmage sitting at level 4. Here we go. Healing Wave still trying to fight back here. Blade Master in that front line in a bit of trouble. May need to use that potion of invulnerability. And yes, he does use that right there. Shadow Hunter is still trying to do a little bit more heals. Blade Master in the thick of things. And now going to have a problem, as the Mountain King could try and throw a... Nope, no Stormbolt there. Instead, going after the units. There goes one Grunt. Another Grunt gets taken down. And a Spirit Walker may get taken out as well. There it goes. Mountain King so far doing a great job here. Another unit going to get taken down, as the Archmage now sitting at level 5. Alright, units do need to back off again. Sorceress are sitting at level 2. Brilliance Aura. Archmage most likely has level 3 Blizzard, as the Mountain King looks to pick up a Clarity Potion and a Potion of Mana and a Clarity... I believe he gave that Clarity Potion to the Archmage, yes, for a little bit of extra insurance. Fly, ready to go again. Meanwhile, Arcane Tower is nowhere in sight. A second Guard Tower being added here. Yumiko with 1-0 upgrades finally going up against 2-1 upgrades, and the upgrades don't seem like they are enough anymore. 80 over 96 supply. Maxed out on low upkeep, Yumiko needs to consider what his options are, or how he wants to push. Meanwhile, Fly needs to figure out how he's going to defend this next attack. Alright, here we go. Mountain King up in that front lines. He is raring to go, ready to go. It looks as though the Archmage is going to be able to come over and Blizzard that here in just a moment. You might even decide to Blizzard past it, because you know that the peons are just going to simply walk away. And there they go. They are walking away. There goes one peon. Peon could have gotten taken down. Meanwhile, there's the Ensnare. Brilliance Aura still sitting at level 2. as the Mountain King is still comfortably standing right there, as we may see more Blizzard. There goes one, there goes two. Oh my goodness, wow. So many very, very low hit point units, as the units are now all trying to run back here. Alright, so many peons now trying to run back. There is a bolt. You probably perhaps even wanted your opponent to stay alive there, keeping that peon from escaping and ending up walking back. Over here on the top right, Blademaster doing whatever he can to get a little bit of an advantage, and that is right now attacking where his opponent is not, even if it does involve guard towers. He is going to be on 0 bases though, and Fly with 0 bases, no economy, is pretty much a what you see is what you get. 56 supply compared to 79. Upgrades. Where are those upgrades? We don't see them yet. Let's see, back over here. Spellbreakers, 2-1 upgrades. Has not traded off for additional upgrades, but is now going into the 2-2 upgrades here. Fly going to lose this Voodoo Lounge, and I believe lose the game, as there is not much. Yumiko needs to do more in order to seal the deal. Yumiko now coming back to defend, knows that his opponent is pretty much up the creek without a paddle. He is overly extended, and with this, the Spellbreakers can either just flank here or flank here, and that would be the end of it. Raiders now going after the Arcane Vault. Arcane Vault is in question of falling, but let's be realistic here. Fly is in such a strange spot right now. Not that much going for him, as the Spellbreakers are going to try and engage. There's some Spirit Link steal. There is the Quick Ensnared, followed by the Blademaster bringing up the rear. You can see the damage is being added. Archmage now trying to run away. Another Ensnare goes down. There's a Disenchant after an Invisibility, Dust of Appearance, and we are still looking at a fairly large fight here. Mountain King able to get off a Stormbolt. Blademaster may try and fight against the against the Mountain King. Mountain King, however, has a bit of mana and should be able to finish things off. There is a Bolt Clap, and that is pretty much all it takes as Fly loses game 1. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1. Please stay tuned for game 2 here on Echo Isle.